So this is the second lesson of the topic trigonometric 3, which is a Form 4 topics. And in this lesson, we will be dealing with waves. So we are going to plot or to draw the graph of y is equals to sine x in the range 0 degrees less than or equals to x less than or equals to 720 degrees. So we start by filling our table. So with x, we have we start with 0. We have let's take 90 degrees. Then we have 180 degrees. We have 270 degrees. We have 360. We have 450, and we have 540. Then we have 630, and finally we have 720. That is the range that we are supposed to use. So you can use your calculator to get the sign of 0, which is 0. The sign of 90 is 1. The sign of 180 is 0. The other one is minus 1. We have minus 1. We have 0. We have 1. We have 0. We have minus 1. And finally we have 0. So these are the values that we are going to plot on our graph paper. And this will give us the wave of y is equals the sine of x. So let us do the wave. So this is the graph that we are going to plot. I have already placed the table that we need to help us get the point. So we have we start from 0. Then we have, this is 90. This is 180. This is 270. This is 360. We have 450. We have 540. We have 630. And finally we have 720. That is our x-axis. Along the y-axis, we are going to use this is 1, and this is minus 1. Now with this, we are going to plot the graph of y is equals to sine x. Using your free hand, you join these points and you come up with a graph. This is a graph of y is equals to sine x. So this is referred to as a wave. So this wave, the sine wave, there are terms that we used in describing the wave. The first one is the amplitude, denoted by letter A. The amplitude of a wave is the maximum displacement of the wave above and below the horizontal axis, i.e. the x-axis. In this case, the amplitude is 1. So this is what is described as the amplitude, the maximum displacement. And also we can use this one, but when we are either positive or negative side, we take the positive value. So the amplitude in this case is equals to 1. It's equals to 1. Then the other term that we use is a period. Period is one complete cycle. In this case, the period is from 0 degrees to 360. So from here, this is where we have the complete cycle up to there. So the period is equals to 360 degrees. That is starting from 0, we go to 1, go back to 0, we go to minus 1, we go to 360, which is 0. So that is a complete cycle. So these are the two terms that we use when we are describing a wave. So we are going to look at a few examples and see how we get the amplitude and the period. So our example 1, we are told to draw the graph of the function y is equals to cos x for the range 0 to 720 degrees. State the amplitude and the period. So the first thing is to prepare a table that is going to help us. So it's not a must that you use a ruler. You can use your hand, just make a sketch of the table. But for me and my convenience, I will use this table. So we'll use the range. Here we can use, let's say, start from 0. We go to 60 degrees. We come to 120. We go to 180. Then we have 240. We have 300. We have 360. We have 420. Then we have 480. We have 540. We have 600. And we have finally, we have we have 660, and finally we have 720. So these are the angles that we are going to get the cosine. So the cosine of 0 is 1. The cosine of 60 is 0.5. Cosine of 120 is minus 0.5. Then cosine of 180, so it's minus 1. So we get to 240, which is minus 0.5. We have cosine of 360 is 1. Then we have 420 is 0.5. We have 480, it is minus 0.5. 540 is minus 1. We have minus 0.5. We have that is 600, and then we have 660 is 0.5, and we have 720 is equals to 1. So using a free hand, prepare a graph. Then you plot the wave of y is equals to cos x by joining these points. So we start by filling the values in our table. You can use your free hand, not necessarily for you to use a ruler, but I've done that for my own convenience. So when x is 0, we label our x's. So let's take the range from 0. We have 60, we have 120, we have 180, then we have 240, we have 300, 360, we have 420, we have 480, we have 540, we have 600, we have 660, we have 720. From there, we now get the values of cos x. So when x is 0, y is 1, we have 0.5, we have minus 0.5, we have minus 1, we have minus 0.5, we have 0.5, we have 1, then we have 0.5, we have minus 0.5, we have minus 1, we have minus 0.5, we have 0.5, and we have 1. So these values, we are going to plot our wave using these values. So let's go ahead and use a graph paper to plot our wave. So this is the graph that I'm going to use to plot my graph. I have already inserted the table that we have filled so that I'm able to get to the point easily. So I start by labeling my y-axis. This is the starting point. So this is 1 and this is 0.5. So it is 0.5 minus and minus 1. Then our x-axis, we have 60, we have 120, we have 180, we have 240, we have 300, we have 360, we have 420, 480, we have 540, we have 600, we have 660, we have 720. This is our x-axis. From there, we identify the points. So when x is 0, y is 1, we go to minus 0.5, we go to minus 0.5, we go to minus 1, we have minus 0.5, we have 0.5, we have 1, we have 0.5, we have negative 0.5, we have minus 1, we have negative 0.5, we have 0.5, and finally we have 1, that is 720. Now, to come up with a graph, you use your free hand to join the points. Do not use a ruler. So let's do that. This is a graph that I have come up with. So I label my graph, and I'll say this is y is equals to cos x. So from there, we are required to state or identify the amplitude. Amplitude, the maximum displacement from the horizontal axis, it is from here to there, which is 1 unit. Then the period is how long does it take to make a full circle. So from we have 1 to get back to 1 again, then we have our amplitude is equals to I think should be 360. So this is 360 degrees to make a complete cycle from here to here. So this part here can be used to fill the other gap. So that's how you get the amplitude and the period of a wave. So here is another example. We are told to draw the graph of the function y is equals to cos x for the range 0 degrees less than or equals to x degrees less than or equals to 540. State its amplitude and the period. So let us prepare the table that is going to help us to plot the. So this is the table that is we are going to fill so that we are able to get the graph. So we label our x-axis from 0. We have 60. We have 120. We have 180. We have 240. Then we have 300. We have 360. We have 420. We have 480. We have 540. That is the range we are supposed to go. Then we come to the y-axis. When x is 0, y is equals to cos x. 0 is 2. Then we have 1. We have minus 1. We have minus 2. We have minus 1. We have minus 1. We have when x is 300, y is 1. We have this is 2. We have 1. We have then we have minus 1. Then we have minus 2. So these are the values that we are going to plot, and we'll come up with a graph. So we now start by labeling our axis. So here we have y-axis. Let's say this is the starting point. So we can say this is 2 and this is 1. This is minus 1. This is minus 2. Then our x, we can say this is 60. This is 120 degrees, 180. we have 240, we have 300, we have 360, we have 360, we have 420, we have 480, and finally we have 540. So this is our x-axis. From there we identify the point. So when it is 0, it is y is equals to 2. So when 60, it is 1. 120, it's minus 1. Then we have minus 2. We have minus 1. As they are alternating, we have 1. We have 2. We have 1. We have minus 1. We have minus 2. We have I think that's the last point. So using this point, you are going to draw the wave. Use your free hand and let your wave be as smooth as possible. So after plotting, this is a graph that you come up with. So we label our graph. It is 2 cos x, and we are required to state the amplitude. So the maximum displacement is 2, so that is the amplitude, and the period is 360. Period is equals to 360 degrees. So that is how you plot those graphs. So our wave of y is equals to cos x would look like this. That brings us to the end of our lesson 2. You can look for more example questions from textbook, past papers, and you work on them. So I look forward to you joining me in the third lesson of this topic.